Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of Unidragon.com?
Have I ever heard of Unidragon.com?
Yes, Unidragon.com.
Why, yes, I have heard of Unidragon.com. That's the puzzle dude.
The puzzle dude, that's correct. He has tons of puzzles, and of course, he is the best and original wooden puzzles.
You have owls.
Guess what is the #1 best-selling puzzle?
The owl.
Do you think you had anything to do with that?
No, everybody loves owls.
Well, right now, you can get 40% off in stock if you go to unidragon.com/products/enchanting owl. You need to make sure you get yours today. Now, they also have 2 to 6 days for shipping. You can domestically ship within the United States. They have a great customer support. If you ever have any questions regarding your puzzle, except for how to put it together, you can email them at care@unidragon.com. If you want to get 10% off, you can use our code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's Dragon, DRAGON, Tech, TECH, for a 10% off discounts. Now, if you want the original, go to unidragon.com. Beware of fakes. Only get your wooden puzzles at unidragon.com.
Get them all.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, are you bored of TV? Like drugs but can't afford them? Or still paying alimony?
Maybe.
All right, read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writing. It's surreal. It's strange. It's How to See a Man About a Dog. Get your dose of surreal prose and poetry with this dark comedy collection.
Ebook available on Kindle Unlimited. Print copies are available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
That's right. I'm going to go get my ebook on Kindle Unlimited today.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you heard of the How I Died, a fictional podcast?
No, I have not. Why don't you tell me about it?
Yeah, let me tell you about it. It's a fictional podcast with a full cast of voice actors and high quality production value. It's essentially like listening to an old time radio program that you would listen to back in the 50s or 60s, sitting around your radio in family time. It's all scripted. It's a series that follows John Spacer, a forensic pathologist who solves murders by speaking to the dead. No one knows about John's gift, and he has to hide it from his boss. The series takes place in the mysterious town of Springfield, the death capital of the U.S. The first episode follows John on his first day of his new job, unsure of how to handle the case of a mother's death during a kidnapping. 2 seasons are out now, with the first season uncovering the mystery of a potential serial killer. The show has passed over 1 million downloads since launch, with a vibrant community all trying to solve mysteries along with the show.
Sounds cool.
It is really pretty cool. You can find them online by going to audiohmmedia.com. Again, that's audiohmmedia.com, or you can take a look at them at any of your standard podcast services. It's How I Died, the podcast. Mike,
What?
have you heard of One Day University?
No, what is that?
Well, let me tell you about them. Remember that college where that one professor who was so popular students would line up to get a spot before they graduated? Well, now One Day University brings over 200 plus of the top-rated professors online to present incredible live stream talks based on their most popular courses.
Wow, that's kind of like TED Talks for college students.
Think of professors selected from schools across the country, including Yale, Stanford, Harvard, UCLA, Duke, Michigan, Columbia, and many more. Every week, One Day University offers a new 1-hour live stream talk followed by a live question and answer from the professor. Members also get access to a library of over 500 past recorded talks, all available on demand. You can learn something new every day about history, politics, arts, science, music, psychology, and much more. No homework or test, just the joy of learning new things from incredible professors.
Yeah, this is right up my alley.
I know, it is exciting. Memberships are just $8.95 a month or $89 a year, but you can try 2 weeks for free.
Dun dun dun. That's cool.
Plus, if you use code TechTime Radio and sign up for an annual plan, you'll get your first year for half price. That's right, 50% off deal. You gotta grab this now.
It's only $8.95 a month or $89 per year and includes unlimited access.
Do you want to try out 2 weeks for free? Learn more and start your 2-week free trial at onedayu.com/techtime. Learn more and start your 2-week free trial today. Just visit www.onedayu.com/techtime, or you can use that promo code TechTime Radio for half off your annual membership plan. Hurry now. Don't let this great TechTime Radio deal pass you by. Hey, Mike, have you heard of the Entrepreneur Swag Shop?
I have not heard about it.
You haven't? Well, let me tell you more. One of the biggest challenges business owners face is creating and maintaining a strong mindset, as fear, doubt, worry, and other negative thoughts tend to creep in. That's why I love the EntrepreneurSwagShop.com and what it's doing to address the common issue. Its mission is to empower entrepreneurs through clothing and accessories so they can stay inspired and focused on their goals.
That's cool.
It's not just who, but what you surround yourself with that makes an impact of how you think, the actions you take, and the results that you are going to get.
Dun, dun, dun.
At EntrepreneurSwagShop.com, again, that's EntrepreneurSwagShop.com, just how it sounds, you will find a variety of items to inspire you and help achieve your business goals. Whether you're young, old, male, female, or just beginning out on an experienced business or needing to refresh that older business, you'll find something in the shop that will help you on your journey.
Yeah, this is right up my alley.
Visit EntrepreneurSwagShop.com today and get 10% off your first order. Again, visit them online at EntrepreneurSwagShop.com. That's EntrepreneurSwagShop.com today to get that variety of information that makes you feel good to inspire you to continue on with your business goals.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics along with special guests to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology news of the week. The show for the everyday common person, weeks ahead of the mainstream media. All right, I'm Nathan Mumm, and welcome to our show. We are live streaming on Twitch. So you can go to techtimeradio.com, and you can view us also on our main webpage. But you can find us at Twitch. So if you go Twitch TV /TechTime Radio, YouTube, you can check us out /TechTime Radio. You can find us out on Twitter, and you can always hashtag us during the show at techtimeradio.com. And of course, you're listening to us on our home station, KKNW 1150 AM. So you can go to their website, and they have a streaming site and a standard listening site. So you can choose both of those. All right. Well, if you need any information and you're listening to us not Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., again, you're going to want to check out the webpage at techtimeradio.com. This is a 2-hour show that talks about a current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. We are so excited about what we have on the show today. We're highlighting some top tech news that is weeks ahead of the mainstream media. So, David, right now, let's get ready to start the show.
Now on today's show.
On today's show, we have our Steals and Deals segment, which includes the best technology deals of the week. We then move our segment to Ask the Expert with one of our favorite guests and our Crispr extraordinaire, James Riddle, the Vice President of Research Services and Strategic Consulting at Advera, who will talk to us about the possibility of a real Jurassic Park. Just think of that. If there was the ability to have a Jurassic Park where you could go and see live animals coming back to life that have been extinct, would you actually yourself go and visit that? I'm going to start and ask Mr. Gorday first on that. Would you go and visit an amusement park that was built like Jurassic Park?
No.
No, why wouldn't you?
Because I have a lot of references that's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. I will go next. I'm going to go to David. David, if there was a real life Jurassic Park with technology to bring back through RNA sequencing, and you had the ability to go on a trip and take a look and see this park, would you go yourself?
I'm going to have to agree with Mike. No, because I probably have nightmares about it, so I'll pass.
Oh, dude, I would be there. I'd be first in line.
You know, I want to.
Okay.
See, this is why this is a complicated thing.
Okay, why is it complicated?
I would love to see a real living dinosaur. As you know, I love dinosaurs.
You play like a video game called Ark, right?
Yes.
So that is all about dinosaurs, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's a major piece is dinosaurs.
Okay.
And I've always loved dinosaurs since I was a kid.
Okay.
But we look at like the movie Jurassic Park, and while it's a fictional story, it does illustrate the problem. Ian Malcolm is this guy that everybody hates in the movie, but he's correct.
Yeah, the chaos theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know what will happen if we do this, but we are so bent on doing all these things that we're going to end up doing these things anyway, regardless of the effect on ecological areas or even social areas. Now the whole movie arc is that now dinosaurs are loose in the population.
Yep.
So what's the
like
next
pterodactyls are flying above you, and
yeah, because we don't know. This is stuff.
Well, there's a company right now that is in the process of bringing back a woolly mammoth.
Yes.
Now you realize woolly mammoths never really existed with humans, right? No.
Woolly mammoths did.
Oh, they did. They did.
Dinosaurs did not exist.
Okay,
with
so
humans.
woolly mammoths did exist.
Woolly mammoths did,
and they were hunted down, weren't they?
Yes. Early man did, and Neanderthal did hunt woolly mammoth.
Okay.
And they went in. Then they did go extinct. So there is some argument that maybe we should bring those back because there was human interaction instead of us bringing a T-Rex back where there was no human interaction in that.
Okay, so we're going to be talking to James Riddle. He's going to get all the questions. I got tons of questions to ask about it because this company that we'll talk about in their segment that we have is all about bringing these back. And they have like $15 million in just seed one financing that has come into this company.
Yeah.
And this company has a list of people that are who's who. I started Googling a bunch of their names, and they are legitimately the main co-founder of this is an eccentric guy that has done.
It's a cool idea,
yeah.
But cool ideas do not necessarily represent a responsible idea.
Well, we're going to be talking about that. Then, of course, finally we have a Nathan Nugget that we're going to be talking about this hour regarding a couple things. We got a little Bitcoin information regarding the U.S. leading Bitcoin mining now since China has banned it.
China is all over the place.
Yeah, China is all in the news. They're taking care of everything. They're just locking down any creativity and technology as much as they can.
It threatens their way of governing, and it also keeps them from the rest of the world. This is not a good thing.
It's not
China becoming more isolation is not a good idea.
And then we have This Week in Technology History, and of course, we're excited to have our second hour. Now, if you want to find out more information, you can go visit us at www.techtimeradio.com to follow up on any of that. Or if you have a question for us, maybe you have a question for James regarding Jurassic Park, now is the time to call in the company that is going to be trying to create a Jurassic Park at 425-373-5527. If you have a technology question specifically regarding some Jurassic Park questions you may have, now's the time to get on the phones, or you can call 1-888-298-KKNW. Again, that's 1-888-298-KKNW, which is 1-888-298-5569, and be a part of the show. Now it's time to welcome Mike to the start of our show, This Week in Technology, brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberryboost.com. All right.
Welcome to the TechTime Radio Steals and Deals. Pay close attention to the Steal of the Week.
All right, we're going to come back to the technology after that. So David's keeping us on time. He wants us to go right to Steals and Deals, which is fine. I appreciate that. So let's start our Steals and Deals right here.
Oh, we're not talking about NASA right
now.
Well,
we'll talk about the NASA Pioneer launch at the end of the show now.
Okay.
We'll put that in there at the end of the show. We were going to start out with This Week in Technology, but he says let's move on. So AirPods Pro, the AirPod Pros, Apple's best-sounding wireless earbuds, are back down to $179. That's $70 off the normal price and close to a record low. This includes the IPX4 design, improved audio, and a solid ANC. Buy your AirPods Max at Amazon for $449.
Nice.
All right, what do you have up on your list?
The the 11-inch iPad Pro, Amazon has knocked off $100 off most of these models, bringing the 256 gig Wi-Fi version down to an all-time low of $800.
$800. Wow.
$800.
All right. So right now is the time to get some of these Black Friday deals. So these are Black Friday prices that we're talking about this week specifically that are available to you guys to get. I'm going to go next to the Razer Book. That's Amazon has a high-powered configuration for the Razer Book. Again, Amazon has a bunch of deals going on. For $1,200, that's $400 off its normal price. It runs on the 11th generation Core i7 processor with 16 gigs of RAM, a 256 gig solid-state drive, and the Intel Iris Xe graphic chip, and a 13.4-inch touchscreen display. Right now, you can buy your Razer Book at Amazon for $1,200. Make sure you Google in Razer Book Amazon to get that special deal.
This seems to be all about Amazon today.
A lot of deals there, yep.
Yeah, the Anova Precision Cooker, the Nano, is down to $95 on Amazon right now. That's the best price ever on the kitchen gadget that would make a great gift for the serious home cook in your life. This model uses 750 watts of power to heat up water, and it'll run for up to 3,000 hours before it needs to be recharged.
All right, that's a pretty good deal.
Sure, you cook.
If you cook, you can put it in a crock pot type of deal, a pressure cooker, and then you can just leave it all day and come back and your meal's ready to go, right?
Or could use a $30 crock pot.
All right, well, hang on. But you want to have a fancy one, then you have to do that. All right,
okay.
There we go. I have Tunnel Bear, another top VPN service, Tunnel Bear. It is probably it's a mid-level. It's not a top.
It's not a Viper.
It's not Viper, which is the best VPN services we've talked about previously on the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is a mid-tier, so it's a little bit underneath the NordVPN, but it is offering a 2-year subscription for $100. So if you want to go the lowest bang for your buck, Tunnel Bear is the lowest I'm going to go on anybody that I would say you should be using VPN service.
They do pay for.
Well, you do get what you pay for. How much did you pay your Viper? Was that about $200?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. All right, so the 2-year subscription for $100, you save 58% off if you sign up for this deal. And Tunnel Bear is the easiest VPN to use. Well, not necessarily. It's okay to use it, but it's very simple. For a new person using a VPN service, this is great. You may not be able to click on the country in Australia to watch your unlocalized information on Netflix, but it is very easy to use. It's available, again, by going to tunnelbear.com for 2 years for $100.
Nice. So GOG.com, do you know who GOG.com is?
God?
G-O-G.
Oh, G-O-G. Good old games.
Goodoldgames.com.
Okay, I do know. GOG.com, okay.
Yes. They are having a sale, 67% on a bunch of games from Activision and Blizzard.
Those are good
for the
companies.
next couple of days. The sales include things like Caesar, Pharaoh, and Cleopatra, Singularity, and others.
Okay, that's a great deal. And our steal of the week, our Apple TV 4K. The latest Apple TV 4K is down to $160 on Amazon, which is closest to the all-time low price. It's the best high-end streaming device you can get, and it has Dolby Vision, Atmos support, and an improved Siri remote. These deals will not last long, and the Apple TV 4K will not probably be available during the holidays as they are selling out fast. So go take a look at Amazon.com, put in Apple TV 4K, grab yours for $160 so you can actually have something underneath the tree for the holidays because they're having so many shipping delays with everything. It is crazy.
Everything is messed up.
All right. Well, if you wanted to get on the phones, hopefully you had a chance to call in. Again, that's 425-373-5527, or you can call 188-298-KKNW and get on the phone to ask questions. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come on back, we have a real-life Jurassic Park story with expert James Riddle, who will discuss the questions that many of us are asking. After you watch Jurassic Park, the question is, should you bring back woolly mammoths or not? This segment is absolutely a don't miss segment. We'll see you right after this commercial break.
Upper Left Corner is a PNW true crime podcast now streaming on all major podcast platforms. If you get excited when your favorite true crime podcast tells a story about a place that you've been to or the town that you live in, then Upper Left Corner podcast is for you. Each week, I tell you a story of a crime that has taken place in the PNW and give you background about the town the crime occurred in. If you like true crime, check out Upper Left Corner podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and more.
Ace Hardware is a helpful place with prompt, friendly service, knowledge, and the little things that make a big difference.
Service.
Selection.
Advice.
Community involvement.
Competitive prices.
Convenience.
Located near you.
And the things you need, such as
house keys,
lawn and garden,
plumbing,
electrical,
hardware,
grills,
outdoor living supplies,
and even nuts and bolts.
When you visit Ace Hardware, you'll be greeted at the door and given the help you need.
So come visit us at Ace Hardware in Evergreen Way in Everett, Lake Stevens, and now Stanley.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Put your head between your knees.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We just heard a famous clip from the movie Jurassic Park. You remember that? They're in the field. The dinosaurs are up. They're looking at the CGI on the screen.
Yes.
And they're going, oh, my word. And he's out there with the cane. And Hammond says, welcome to Jurassic Park. Now we're going to get our next segment started. We're really excited to have our guest, James Riddle, joining our next segment. Let's start it now.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts, with our TechTime radio technology expert, James Riddle.
Oh, that's a new voice. Who's that?
That's right. See, we got a bunch of the different stuff. But James, thank you for being a part of our show today. We're really excited about it.
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. That theme music just brought back tons of memories from going to the movie theater, watching all the dinosaurs.
Oh, I know. You know, it was that first movie is so good. You know what? And the new reboot, the first movie was good.
They're all pretty good.
Well, the second one was kind of where they're using the
things
as
there was a lot of cheesy to that one, but
yeah,
that was still good.
Both number twos, they're all good though. They have a very interesting thing. So thank you for being a part. We are going to be talking about CRISPR, and this is an article I know that is very interesting as we were doing some research regarding the whole Jurassic Park type of idea. So CRISPR technology. Can you explain that again for those that are listening to the first time? I know we've talked about it a bunch on our Tech Time Radio, and you're our guy for that. Explain what CRISPR is in basic terms.
Okay, so in real basic terms, everybody, I think you learned in high school biology class, everybody has DNA in them. It's the building blocks that tell your cells what to do. And so inside your cells, there's DNA. Your cells read the DNA and figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do today? I'm supposed to grow brown hair, or I'm supposed to create blue eyeball cells, or it's the instruction code that tells living cells what to do. And so if you can use that DNA in different ways by changing the code, and that's what CRISPR does. CRISPR is a way to change genetic code. And so when a cell goes and reads the updated genetic code, rather than producing brown hair today, it goes, oh, I think I'm going to produce blonde hair today, or no hair, depending on your case. So that's CRISPR in a nutshell. It's super cool technology that we've just really started to learn how to use in the last decade or so. And the ability to take DNA, change it into something else, so that your cells do something that they weren't going to do otherwise, can be good or bad, depending on your perspective. And you can do all kinds of really excellent stuff with that technology, or you can maybe do some things that aren't quite as savory to many people. So that's CRISPR in a nutshell. Just think of DNA. I always liken it to one of those old-fashioned music boxes where the little thing goes twing, 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 and the little dots are rolling around. Because it tells as it's going around, it tells the music how to play. If you change one of the dots, the music's going to sound different. And so that's kind of CRISPR and DNA in a nutshell.
And so CRISPR's been really big here. It's been some saving aspects for, I believe, malaria that's been in the news, where they've been able to help take care of this. There's some, I know we talked about previously some genes where we're talking about where you can change blindness, specifically if someone was born and they may have been blind, if you edit some of the sequencing in DNA. Now, all the CRISPR technology, is it still being done in kind of lab format? It's not really ready to be produced yet, or has it released into everybody doing it also in
Well, so CRISPR itself is a technology. Okay. The ability to edit DNA, we've known how to do that as a species for more than a decade. Okay. CRISPR is just a technology that enables us to more precisely edit the DNA. It's being used in a number of not quite all the way into human trials, but pretty close. There's a few that are just getting started where they're using CRISPR to edit human genes. But we've used CRISPR to edit animal genes, plant genes, and we've been doing gene editing for quite some time. You mentioned the ability to change humans. Like there's an article that just came out not too long ago that was studying how well the kiddos with the severe immune deficiency gene defect, they've got treated 10, 15 years ago. They're still around, happy, healthy kids, where if they hadn't have had their genes updated to be able to produce the immune cells inside their body, again, we told the genetic code, hey, produce immune cells to fight off infections. These kids are happy, healthy kids, and otherwise they probably wouldn't have lived this long. So really cool stuff you can do with gene editing, and it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Like folks kind of get surprised a little bit about how far gene editing has gone. But if you've eaten corn lately in the United States, you've eaten a genetically modified organism.
That's right.
And
unless you go
GMO,
to whole paycheck, which is our Whole Foods up here, and you buy an ear of corn for $5 a pop. Yeah, you're getting some taken care of. So now let's talk about this company called Colossal. All right. Supposedly they're using some of this CRISPR technology, and they have a big group of idea to bring back a woolly mammoth or animals that have been extinct. How have the advancements in CRISPR allowed this company and the CEO and founder, and I got some quotes we'll talk about here, how is this advancement that we have now allowing a company to say that they can bring back animals that have been extinct?
Well, if you think about DNA being the instructions for what to do, my understanding of the technology that Colossal is going to use to bring back the woolly mammoth, and we can debate whether that's a good idea or not.
Well, we're going to do that too a little bit later on here. We'll talk about that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we could talk about whether it's a good idea to bring back woolly mammoths or not. But the technology that they're using really is not terribly dissimilar to what we're already using to genetically modify our farm animals to make them grow faster, our fish to make them grow bigger. What they're planning on doing, my understanding, is that they're going to take the historical DNA that they've been able to gather from woolly mammoths, because they're not that old, right? They lived around with humans. We have examples of DNA. Like we've been able to run the sequence of what a woolly mammoth's DNA looks like. So we know what the DNA music sounds like. So then you can take some similar kind of animal, because you look around creation, there's lots of different kinds of animals. You take something similar like an elephant or horse, what have you, and you take that elephant and you look at their genetic code and you start tinkering with it to make it sound different. So the elephant's DNA goes, or the cell goes, I think I'm going to grow long hair today. Or, I just read my DNA instructions, I'm going to grow bigger tusks. Or I'm going to put on more belly fat so that I don't freeze in the tundra, right? So we have the technology to be able to do this. The real key is, should we?
Okay, well, we got some questions on that coming up. Yep.
Yeah, should we? And it is a little bit harder to change something into something else. So if you know, in reading through their articles, they really are planning on starting with something that's close to a woolly mammoth, like an elephant, and genetically engineering that elephant, which is a little different than what the dudes in Jurassic Park did. Right? If you remember back, Jurassic Park used cloning, right?
That's right.
You saw in the movie set there, they had the little needle going into the mosquito belly and pulling out the cells, and then they cloned and put them in an ostrich egg, and that just cloned the animal. Now, we have the technology to do that too with living creatures, like Dolly the sheep has been cloned. There's been reports of people who've cloned humans over in China. So we have the technology to do that as well.
China again.
China does everything. China does everything a little bit ahead of everybody else because they have their own regulations. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that's really it in a nutshell. So could they do it? Sure. That we've got the technology and the wherewithal. And in many cases, we're already engineering animals and other living organisms to do or have certain characteristics that we like. I like my little glowfish in the tank. They're a genetically modified neon fish, right? Genetically engineered to express a glowing gene. So when I put the black light on them, they're yellow and they're cool. Like, should we do that? I don't know, but we can.
We can.
Why monkey around with an elephant's DNA instead of using actual mammoth DNA?
Well, so CRISPR and gene editing works on an actual living thing, and there aren't any living mammoths anymore. So you have to start with something that's already around, like an elephant, which is why the cloning stuff from Jurassic Park, not quite there yet. Like, we can clone sheep because we have living sheep examples to take the DNA out of one and put it into the embryo of another. We actually don't have any living dinosaurs. So you could, theoretically, using mammoth's thought pattern here, you could do something like take one of those Gila monsters, like one of those big lizard things that live out on the island, right? And start genetically engineering them to have T-Rex arms or something. I mean, you could theoretically start doing that. I don't know if we should.
I'm pretty sure somebody's out there monkeying with that idea right now.
All right, so here's a quote from the CEO and co-founder Lamb from Colossal. He says, "Never before has humanity been able to harness the power of this technology to rebuild ecosystems, heal our Earth, and preserve its future through the repopulation of extinct animals. In addition to bringing back extinct animals, specifically like the woolly mammoth, we will be able to leverage our technology to help preserve critical and endangered species that are on the verge of extinction and restore animals where mankind had a hand in their demise." Explain this thought to me. Yes. So do you think we should be doing this? Should we be preventing endangered species from disappearing and deciding to bring them back?
It's a tough question. It goes into a whole bunch of different worldview activities, which are probably a little beyond the scope of this particular show.
Sure.
But I think in reading up on this topic from what Mammoth is planning, or Colossal, excuse me, they are sincerely convinced that woolly mammoths have a positive impact on the frozen tundra, right? So there is some evidence, apparently, that since woolly mammoths have left the tundra, there's been a degradation in the overall environment. So woolly mammoths do things like they stamp down, they dig in the ground to aerate the soil. They poop everywhere, right? So there's fertilizer. There's all kinds of things that animals impact their environment. And so if you are convinced that having this particular top tier animal in the environment is going to have a positive impact on the native tundra, well, maybe it is a good idea to introduce that animal back. Take an elephant, genetically engineer it to be more like a mammoth, make them enough of them that they can procreate and create more mammoth type things, and let them run around and poop in the fields and, restore the tundra.
And then we'll create a whole new group of poachers who will poach them for their tusks and their pelts, and we'll have all kinds of stuff going on in the black market.
All right. Well, hang on. That's good. James, we're going to need to take a break. When we come back, let's talk specifically about this woolly mammoth and the process to recreate this huge beast. Right? Should we be doing a huge beast, or should we start something smaller? I keep on thinking about
miniatures.
I'm just thinking, like, should we do some like extinct birds or some chickens, or maybe something a little bit smaller that we don't have this big, huge deal. Also, very curious on how this is going to happen. So I was doing some research too. How do you start out? I mean, you know what? We're not going to talk about it now because we're going to take a commercial break, and we have all those great questions to ask you when we return.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, a new show here on KKNW that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making mid to late career transitions. I'll be here every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock bringing you guest interviews, career transition advice, and great stories to guide you to what's next in your career and life. Gain a renewed sense of purpose for your next phase with a positive, forward-looking approach. Get ready to be re-energized, recharged, and reignited Wednesdays at 3 o'clock.
Give me that big glass of water. We're going to conduct an experiment. It should be still. The car's bouncing up and down, but that's okay. It's just an example. Now, put your hand flat like a hieroglyphic. Then. Now, let's say a drop of water falls in your hand. Which way is the drop going to roll off? Of which finger, or over the thumb, or the other side?
Thumb. It's unpredictability.
All right. That's chaos theory.
All right, that's the chaos theory, right?
Yeah.
So that's Malcolm there, right?
Dr. Ian Malcolm there.
Saying that
let's go faster.
You gotta be careful what you wish for, right? Isn't that what he was kind of the reasoning to the whole movie of?
Well, yeah, he was the guy the naysayer that we all dislike. We always dislike the naysayer.
Yep.
But it turned out he was
kind of the hero, right? He was like,
he was correct.
Are you sure you know what you're doing here? All right. So before we went to break, we asked you the question specifically: should we be starting with woolly mammoths, or should we be starting with something smaller,
like chickens?
Yeah, well, or just a smaller race. So let me ask you that, James. Should we be going for the big Kahuna here, and let's just take the biggest animal we can, or what?
If you're colossal and you're an eccentric billionaire that wants to raise a lot of money from other eccentric billionaires, like I'm doing a mammoth.
You're doing a mammoth, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing the mammoth. It's super cool.
Behavior.
It looks really cool when you put it behind you in your headshot. Everybody knows what they are.
That's true.
I don't think it would get. Yeah, I don't think it would get the same advertising value as, hey, let's do a dodo.
Nobody's really talking about bringing back the dodo, right? Or let's create a chicken. That's not as sexy.
It's not as sexy. So we're just gonna go for the big woolly mammoth.
We're just
the big teddy bear, right?
Go big or go home.
So all I can think about is in this DNA sequencing that they mess up. And have you seen Lord of the Rings, right? And they have those huge elephants with those huge tusks out there.
Elephants, yeah.
Yeah, that they're just attacking in the J.R.R. Tolkien Lord of the Rings, and they're like these total battle beasts, these deals that you can shoot them with hundreds and hundreds of arrows, and they don't fall down. They keep on trugging and trugging and trugging through the wilderness. That's what I can
armies.
See. Yep, that's what I can see here. But let's ask here.
I mean, as far as the technology is concerned, it's not any more. It probably is not any more difficult for Colossal to do a mammoth than it is for them to do a horse or a dog or a chicken. They're all complex biological organisms, and it's going to take them, the same kinds of technology and the same kinds of gene editing over time in order to produce something that resembles a mammoth. Because remember, they aren't doing cloning like in Jurassic Park.
Correct.
They're taking something that we already have and genetically engineering it to be something else or act like something.
So how do you get patient zero? So how are they planning to get patient zero?
Well, they just grab an elephant off the plains of Africa.
Is that the idea that you put this DNA sequencing in the womb of an elephant, or?
Yeah, so it isn't going to be quite like in the movies where they just go over and stick a needle in the elephant's butt and all of a sudden it just grows long hair.
Okay,
right? Like it's not going to be like that. It'll be more along the lines of they'll take some elephant DNA. They'll use CRISPR technology to edit that DNA, and then they'll reintroduce it probably back into a small baby, embryonic elephant, and let it grow and see what happens. And more likely than not, that elephant's going to grow with certain genetic traits, like the glowing fish in my tank.
It's going to be more like Alien 3.
It's like Alien 3?
Yeah. Do you remember?
Where they open up the
No,
egg?
no, it was Alien Resurrection.
Or Resurrection.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was when they had all the different versions of Ripley, and they were all just monstrous, crazy things.
I didn't watch that. No, I stopped at like 2. It was too scary for me. I wasn't allowed to watch. All right. Okay, so let me ask. So they're going to actually take the DNA that they have then, it sounds like, and they're going to modify that with some elephant DNA.
That's my understanding of the tech that they're taking, is that they're gonna start with something that we have, like an elephant, and they're gonna start tinkering around with the genes so that the elephant's offspring exhibits certain genetic traits, like longer hair, bigger tusks, more belly fat. Maybe they make a weird sound. I don't know. I wasn't around when woolly mammoths were around, but they probably have some kind of cool trumpeting sound. And then, of course, if they get the traits they want, the next thing they have to be concerned with is, do those traits pass along or get inherited by the offspring of the thing that is creating the trait?
Yeah, they have to become
so does the next gene. When the really hairy, long tusked thing that they created mates with another elephant, do they get an elephant with, gray skin and no hair? Or do they get something that's kind of halfway in between? Can they create enough of them to create a stable population? And then the question becomes, will we actually let them loose out in the tundra?
Yeah, basic. Remember in biology class when you did your did you do the blue-eye, brown-eye dominant gene?
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. My favorite part, though, is dissecting the frog.
That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, that's just to say, you were talking about like science class.
I'm talking about genetics. I'm not talking about dissecting frogs.
You take,
although they might have to dissect the elephant. I don't know.
So do you make 2 or 3 of these, and then hopefully one is because with CRISPR, can you produce a male gene and a female gene during the embryo stage, James?
Theoretically, yeah. If you understand the genetic profile, you can use CRISPR or other gene editing technologies to produce certain traits like male, female, brown hair, green hair, glowing, things of that nature. You have to really understand the underlying genetic profile, which more than likely Colossal does because they have access to woolly mammoth DNA. They may not necessarily understand how that DNA reacts in a living organism because we don't have any actual living mammoths to compare it to. But they're smart people. I'm sure they'll figure it out. They could also theoretically take a crack at the cloning like they did in Jurassic Park, right? They just take the woolly mammoth DNA, insert it into an elephant embryo, and see what happens.
Yeah.
We
could get super intelligent mammoths that take out humans and rule the world.
So then instead of AI taking over the world, we'll just have these mammoths take over the world?
Yeah, like...
All right, so let me ask you a little bit about this leadership group. I don't know if you had a chance to Google any of these people. I did a little bit of these. So they received $15 million in funding. There's an individual by the name of George Church. I couldn't find very much about him. He is the leader of Colossal. He's helming it. He's the co-founder. Then they have this Ben Lamb, who's a former CEO and founder of Hypergiant. It's got a huge list of people from Zynga Corporation, Accenture, co-producers, internet service providers. And then as I take a look at their advisory council, pretty big name. But then they have a bunch of individuals here on the scientific advisory board that are PhD Carolyn, Alto, Fritz, all these individuals. Does this look like a legitimate company with those individuals that they have on their roster of what they're trying to do with this? Or is it kind of a cash grab here and probably see what happens? It was a nice idea. What do you think?
A long con?
Yeah.
Well, it certainly isn't the same kind of thing like your 007 example in the first hour,
sure.
Right? So they're not trying that. But hopefully, these are smart folks. I don't know any of them personally, but they have good credentials and they seem to have a genuinely sincere idea that they can utilize gene editing technologies to modify animals to behave like things that are extinct now, so that we have a more balanced ecosystem. I mean, I have to imagine that tundra probably was generated with woolly mammoths in mind.
Makes
sense.
Now there's no woolly mammoths, and that has to have an impact on the tundra.
You think Darwin is rolling in his grave right now?
Why would he be rolling?
Because this goes against the theory of Darwinism. You know, they were selected to go extinct, and now we're bringing them back because we can.
Well, let's ask about that. So, are we going to have a Jurassic Park here in the next 20 years? Let me just ask you that, James. Do you think that we will have a company, since they're moving quite quickly on this,
if they're able to do this, that we will have zoos and features and.
Well, that's my question. So, James, do you think we will have a Jurassic Park in the next 20 years?
In the next 20 years, I don't think so. Okay. While the movies, and we just talked about this in pretty simplistic terms, the movies really oversimplify the complexities of this technology. Living cells are an incredibly complex environment with lots and lots of moving parts that we still don't understand how they work. The likelihood that we would be able to take long crystallized cells from a mosquito rear end out of something and recreate an entire living organism in 20 years, probably pretty slim. Okay. Now, I could be wrong about that. Who knows? Maybe we've got Jurassic Park being built over in China. Don't know.
Well, they're going to stick all their AIs on it. And the AIs are going to create the dinosaurs that take out the human population so that the AIs can rule. There we go. That's how it's going to work.
But then they'll keep it segmented maybe only with China.
Maybe the dinosaurs are still hanging out in one of those metaverses that people were so enthralled about that we were talking about in the first hour.
Yeah, that's right. The reptilians.
Yeah, you could just go over to one universe and then you can come on back into these mirror universes and bring
Well, we could just go all over the place with this.
So I think there is going to be a Jurassic Park.
I think 20 years?
I do. I think someplace like a Switzerland or something like that some neutral place will have some woolly mammoths. It'll be the extinct zoo where you go in and see extinct animals.
I think we'll see woolly mammoths in the next 20 years if they continue to do this. I don't think we're going to see dinosaurs.
Oh, I'm
I mean, as much as I would love to see a living dinosaur again, that's a really cool idea versus is it really responsible to do that? I don't know that's
dude. Money drives everything. So if you can have a
that's
park,
the problem. That's exactly the problem.
You have a park that's open.
Money deciding whether we're responsible enough to use this technology to do things that are
you don't get
beneficial to
$15 million in financing just to help save the world.
Yeah, well,
right. I mean, maybe I'm a pessimist.
I don't
about
know
that, but I think
would it be good to bring back the California condor? I don't know.
It would be interesting, though, wouldn't it? All right, James, I appreciate you so much for joining us. Always great to have you on. Well, there you go. Always great to have you on TechTime.
What do you got going on over there?
I was going to cough.
A little too much of that Jack Apple there.
I was going to say a little bit too much during the break. All right.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I Googled it. There is no such thing as a Jack Apple. It's Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 mixed with apple liqueur. So Jack Apple.
Is that where they came up their own phrase? Okay. That's
wow.
perfect. See, look at James. This is full of knowledge. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I didn't know what it was either. I kept on reading.
No credit here. I credit the Oracle of Google.
Okay, there you go.
And you couldn't Google it yourself. Huh?
I'm busy. I'm making sure we got stuff moving from place to place. I appreciate James.
I'm going to register that trademark now. Jack Apple.
Jack Apple. All right. I'll tell you this, James. I got to send you a Screwball, one of our whiskeys we had on the show a couple weeks ago. I need to package that up, send that to you and your beautiful bride there so you can have some of our Screwball
where's my
whiskey.
bottle, buddy?
You went and bought some at Costco. What are you talking about?
I didn't buy any at Costco.
You didn't buy any at Costco?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you bought some.
I said I wouldn't buy it because I would drink it all in like an hour.
It was so good. All right. Thank you so much for joining the show. Have a great day, James.
Bye, James.
All right, when we come on back, we got the Nathan Nugget to end the show. I am Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Gorday here and David Brown behind the board. We'll see you after this commercial break.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, are you bored of TV? Like drugs but can't afford them? Or still paying alimony?
Maybe.
All right, read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writing. It's surreal. It's strange. It's How to See a Man About a Dog. Get your dose of surreal prose and poetry with the Start Comedy Collection.
Ebook available on Kindle Unlimited. Print copies are available on Amazon, the Book Depository, and more.
That's right. I'm going to go get my ebook on Kindle Unlimited today.
Hey, babe, I hear that you can download a new voice on Siri.
No way.
Yes, it's true. It's a voice that goes, "Hey, you big hunk. what do you want to do and where do you want to go?
Stop it.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm kidding.
What has tech ever done for our relationships?
We can't talk about that on the radio.
If you want to eavesdrop on juicy conversations that no one is having around all things love, sex, and relationships, join us right here, 1 p.m. on KKNW and wherever you get your podcast.
We look forward to seeing you in the Love Shack.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
Welcome back to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. Let's start our final segment now.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
Really?
That's right.
You just wanted to get your own
my Nugget of the
shot.
Week.
No.
That's right. This is Nathan Nugget of the Week.
Nathan's
Nugget of the Week. All right, so here we go. What to do with your old car? The classic car is being converted to electric vehicles. We talked a little bit of this in the first hour. Oswell is a black 1954 Morris Minor. It's a quiet car that has had its fossil fuel drinking heart replaced with a recycled electric motor. Previously, the 68-year-old gas guzzling engine would be making tons of noise as Matthew Quitter would be driving it all the way down the streets in London. He has created a new company called London Electric Cars back in 2017, and now he is replacing combustion engines with the classic cars with the new electric motors and batteries that would otherwise have been scrapped. You love this idea, don't you?
Well, I'm having trouble with this idea because if they've been scrapped, are they really that good?
Well, these parts typically come from crashed EVs such as Tesla and Nissan Leafs that have been written off by the insurance firms, but the motors and the batteries have not been damaged.
Okay.
The firm currently charges $30,000
$30,000
per conversion, so it's not cheap. But the company is saying that it's going to aim to drive the cost down to $8,000 in the next coming year to make it more affordable for people in the future. To learn more, you can visit techtimeradio.com and click on the stories links to find out more about this article. Yeah. Would you spend $8,000 to replace your...
No.
Okay.
If I have my dream car is a 1968 or 69 Camaro SS.
Okay.
Would I have that turned into an electric motor? No.
No.
Not, and it's not because I don't have any need to help the environment. It's because when you turn that motor on, you're going to hear. You're not going to hear that growling V8.
Yeah. You like that sound, don't you?
That's part of the experience.
I had a Monte Carlo growing up, and I loved. It was only a 305, but when you just go up to a street light and you just rev it with your brake on.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Unless maybe they can have some audio clips that go on
some
there.
AI to create an audio clip of really loud.
Because I'm not going to cruise up to my line in a 1968 Camaro SS electric EV car. Because you're never going to hear nothing.
I don't know if I'd pay $8,000 to replace my engine.
I'm not going to pay nothing.
All right. Okay, here we go. This Week in Technology. So we missed this first part that we had here. So This Week in Technology, David was keeping us on schedule. Thank you so much, David. You did a great job there.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. October 11th, 1958, NASA launched Pioneer 1, the first spacecraft launched by the 11-day-old National Aeronautic and Space Administration, which is now known as NASA.
It's not NASA.
NASA. That's what I said earlier. I said NASA. All right. Originally intended to fly by the moon, the launch malfunctioned due to programming error, causing Pioneer 1 to only obtain a ballistic
trajectory,
which caused it to fall back to Earth after 43 hours of flight.
Right.
Now, it was launched weighing 84 pounds. The first lunar space program under NASA. It essentially was to land on the moon and to take samples. But what was really interesting here is that Pioneer would be the very first spacecraft to utilize the L-band technology for communication. They created L-band to specifically work on that. Do you know what L-band is?
What's L-band?
L-band is one of the chief operating ranges of various applications. It broadcasts at 1 to 2 gigahertz. And it essentially used to penetrate rain, fog, and storms and used by aircraft, global positioning systems, and boats out on deep seas.
Okay.
This is the only way that you can communicate across the world, even to today, with the L-band technology for maritime communications.
Okay.
So, failed mission,
L-band technology.
created so they can communicate, and therefore that is technology
What about
news
Pioneer
of
2?
the week.
When did Pioneer 2 launch?
I didn't do any research on Pioneer 2.
Oh, dang it.
All I know is the Pioneer 1, it literally looked, if you go and Google Pioneer 1 right now, it looks like a missile that you would use in some video game to attack your opponents on the other side of your war battlefront. It just looked like a missile.
Well, it was.
That's right.
It was a converted missile.
It really was. All right. Well, I am Nathan Mumm. Thank you for joining us for Hour 2. Hopefully you enjoyed our Jurassic Park segment with James Riddle, as we did. It was fantastic. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Gorday here, David Brown behind the board. Have a great day. And remember, technology is your friend.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment in technology today. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service from Apple to Google and everything in between. And also signing up on our YouTube page, where you get to see us live in video. Yep, you can see us chat and have some fun. It's youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.